All right, another episode, RSL Random Fan Podcast. I'm a host, Brent Goebel, joined by
B host Tyler.
yeah, and Brennan.
Taking the
Is
night off.
Yeah, he didn't feel good. He said he doesn't
I
feel
mean,
good, so I think I had to call his mommy. I don't know. No, no, he didn't. Oh, hopefully he'll feel better, but we miss him. He's the one that keeps us sane, I guess, or makes fun of us. That's what he does. He just makes
yeah,
fun of
yeah.
us.
We'll just make fun of each other. We're not very good at that. We're a little too
No.
nice to each other. We have a little too much respect, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Oh man.
All right, so let's talk about. I'll pull up the lineup here.
Oh, the game in Houston.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
So,
debacle, Brent.
oh,
What happened to 3-1 RSL, man? That's what you predicted.
I really, really thought that we would see the RSL team that was come out fired up, ready to prove that they were getting back on track. But for a
And
minute,
that
for a
is
minute, it
not
looked
what we
that
get.
way. You had Beavers in goal. He's the starting. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. And then you had Catranes. And surprise, were you surprised with Philip Quinton
Well, I
back there in
guess
place of
I guess
Vera?
Vera's had a little bit of head issues, or neck and head, neck, and so he
He
wasn't
was in
feeling
the
up to it.
18
Yeah, he was on the bench, but
or
not.
20. And
Yeah,
then Glad and Javen Brown with the start at right back. And then we had the two linchpins in the middle, Ojeda and Anelli. And across the top, Diego Luna, Diogo Gonçalves in the middle, Lachlan Brook on the right, and Chicho
Chicho.
Arango up top. So thoughts on the lineup? What any surprises?
When I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, they're going with Gonçalves and not Crooks. So hopefully, we're gonna start to see some of that magic that we've been promised from our new DP signing. Expensive, bring over. And then, yeah. At first, I thought this is a good lineup. This is good. Quentin's there. Him and Glad did well last week. Brown looked solid. And Houston just spun us in circles, Brant.
Well, the first little bit, I mean, in the first minute, Diogo got a nice little header that just kind of went to Steve Clark. And we have to talk about Steve Clark.
What, the
Um,
Jedi braid? Is that what we're talking about?
oh my gosh. You should just be anybody with a rat tail, you should just be able to walk up and punch, right? Rat tail, punch in the face.
Rat
I
Tail
mean,
Punch. Hey, that sounds
rat
like a name
tail,
of a great band. That's our new
rat
band name.
tail,
Rat
rat
Tail
tail punch
Punch.
in rat tail punch in the face. I'm just like, what is that? Like what? I mean, is he gonna like throw out some cardboard now and start breakdancing, beatboxing, b-boying?
Now,
Because
somebody
that,
did
yeah,
tell me that he had found some religion and that it was part to that. And I didn't know if they were being like straight up or not because it seemed like it was told as a joke. So if it's religious, then we totally back off that.
sure,
To each
absolutely,
their own. Yeah,
absolutely.
totally. We're just,
If
but
it's a
if
fashion
it's
choice,
not,
if it's not,
we got
we
lots of fun jokes for him.
we totally respect how anybody wants to believe or not believe. But
Live their life their way. Yep.
I'm unaware of the rat tail being any form of religious devotion, but could be
I
wrong.
thought it was just the Jedi, but I could be wrong. I've been
Maybe
wrong
yeah,
before.
those Jedi's are making a comeback. So,
Yeah, yeah. Like when I predicted we would tie 2-2 or
well,
1-1. That was my prediction. And for a second, we had it. Almost there. Almost there. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
yeah, the first few minutes it was a little bit RSL, but Houston just seemed to have our number, especially down the right side.
Yeah.
Is that
Like
oh
our right side or their right side?
their left side, our right side. It seemed like they were having a pretty good time going down against Brown. Is
Yeah.
that what you saw?
Yeah, they were kind of trying to pick on him a little bit, and they kind of made Katrana stay at home too. I thought that was interesting. But they, yeah, I mean, I don't know that we have a good handle on Brown and who he is as a right back. But I think this game made him look uh, maybe like Vancouver's cast out, right? Maybe that's why
Yeah,
Vancouver got rid of him is because he gets turned around with the passy teams, right? Good one on
yeah,
one defender. And if guys are trying to break him down one on one, he was solid in the tackle and he did well under those circumstances. But the I call them the passy teams. What do you call that? The old Spain team, the ticky
tick, tick,
tacky, the
yeah,
all that stuff, right? That is what Houston plays. That's their style, and did not suit him at right back.
yeah, yeah. I was kind of disappointed, but I've been kind of disappointed with the right side of RSL's back line all season, really. I think Justin Glad has had. I don't think been anything other than average, and at times he's
Yeah.
been below average. And that right back position between Hidalgo and Brody and now Brown has has really been has not been up to snuff for any MLS team, I don't think. I don't think any one of them has shown that they are MLS quality. I mean, and the right back should be a solid position on any team because there's just so many good players at that position.
Yeah, and we really haven't brought in a right back. I mean, in the last couple transfer windows, except Brown, and he was off the waiver wire basically. So, I mean, I get it. It's off the waiver wire. You usually don't get huge deals off of that, but um, he did give us some good minutes last game, and things worked out well there. But this game just wasn't quite there.
Yeah, and we can talk about the second half as well, but I thought I give Hidalgo props. I think he had a better game in the second half for the most part than he's had in the last few games.
Yeah. And to be fair, we actually started pretty well. I mean, it wasn't total dominance by Houston, but as we started rolling on, I think things started getting a little crazier, and we lost a bit of confidence, we lost a bit of our swagger, and we lost Diogo Gonçalves. Like, he was disappeared
Yeah.
for long periods of time, right?
Yeah, we had he had a shot in the first minute, the 11th, 12th minute. Chicho had a nice deflected header that kind of challenged that far post, but missed.
And
And
so I coach a lot of youth soccer, and one of the things I coach is don't backheel.
oh, I thought about you when I saw that.
Don't backheel. I say it all the time. All the kids know. If you're backheeling and you're on my team, you're going to sit on the bench. If your backheel doesn't go in the, if your backheel doesn't lead directly to a goal, you're going to be pulled out and sat on the bench. I I get that you got to be creative to open things up, and this is MLS. It's not youth soccer, so they can backheel all they want. But when you pass the ball with the back of your heel and you don't catch it exactly right, it's a low probability pass. So I play the probabilities and I don't back heel. Only if it's like off the line, saving a goal or back heel, like, you know what I mean? But no, by and large, no back heels, no back heels.
Yeah, I thought about this. I watched the whole game. I didn't turn it off. I didn't go irate. I still have all my TVs.
You didn't
Um,
text me at all though, so you weren't venting your frustrations.
no, I think I'm at the point now where this is a new team
Yeah.
and we're just starting over. And one of the things I think we need to talk about is chemistry. where did it go? And I have a theory, and I I th- I think some of this is coaching.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Uh, I think I don't know if it's lack of, you know, we're supposed to have these mentality gurus, and it seems like this team has come apart a little bit as a team. When we were like the first 20 games, RSL lost 3 games and had, I think, 10 victories and only 3 losses and 7 draws. So they started out brilliantly, but they were playing together.
Yeah.
They were they were playing really beautiful soccer. They were trusting each other. Their triangle passing was working great. They were getting forward, but they were playing as a team. And then you get to the Chicho injury and the Chicho suspension and Andres Gomez. He seemed to, I don't know if the talk of him maybe getting sold in the transfer window.
Maybe.
I've heard other people say, hey, it looks like Andres Gomez is out there auditioning for another team instead of playing with his team. So they've kind of come apart, and you saw that in this game where just make the simple pass. I
Yeah,
mean, they
like
were,
even in the first minute when Chicho turned and played that ball to Lachlan, Diogo puts his hand up like he's ahead for the back post. Lachlan floats a ball over there and he just like, I don't know, he didn't attack it, you know? He just
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't seem like he's playing with like his whole heart and soul going after that header, like, like giving it his all. It seems like he's disconnected. And if your 10's disconnected, your whole team's disconnected in my book.
Yeah, yeah, but the turnovers, the unforced turnovers were just amazing. I mean, right to Houston players when or trying to make maybe a spectacular pass when the simple pass was right there, and the turnovers were just uh, really terrible.
Well,
So
yeah, like in the 11th minute, we kind of had that combination where Luna played it to Catranas. He made a run. Catranas played him in behind. It took Houston out of their press. They kind of had to step back because we were, kind of pushing them back a little bit. And then we got that sweet cross in, and we shuffled their back line over. And if Chicho lets that ball run to the back to the overlap of Brook, then he's in alone. Chicho just has
yeah,
to let it go. But he tries to take it and head it at the back corner, and he missed.
so that's going back to the coaching. I think the players are overplaying. When they before they were letting the game come to them, and they weren't trying to score on every shot. And it,
Wait,
or
what?
yeah, or like now
You mean every
they
kick? They
every
weren't trying to
kick,
score on every
yeah,
kick. Yeah.
scoring every kick like that play. I thought Lachlan Brook looked good.
Yeah.
I like what he brings, and if we can figure out Diego Luna has struggled. I don't know if that's because Gomez isn't there, but the team just has not gelled like they should be. Even with the changes, you think that they would come into a system and say, hey, this is where we need you. But it's been the opposite, and they're it seems like they're coming apart, just like you predicted if they did not play well against Houston. So good job.
Well, you're the one that called the middle of the season, fall apart. I think I think this is going back to old RSL, which is super lame, but we had a couple years where we were right there, first, second, and then all of a sudden after the summer start falling off and falling apart. And I really hope we don't just fall apart because we have 5 or 6 teams in the West that are not good that we should win out. Like, I mean, we're playing the worst teams in the West. Yeah, some of those guys are fighting for roster spots, but they're just trying to play well. They're not trying to win games, right? San Jose is not going to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I really hope we don't limp into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's really really rather frustrating.
Yeah. And
So
then the Houston machine came on. If you go watch the highlights about the 25th minute, man, just their passing, their movement, they know when each other wants to do what they want to do. You know, they got Bossy and the other guys in there.
Skia,
Kataskia. Kataskia probably played the poorest of everybody on that team, but they still destroyed us. But like they play the ball in and he plays it behind to Brown, and Brown just like panics and clears it, but he clears it right across to the top of the box. Like it wasn't even oh man, like don't do that, bro. Like there's almost
yeah,
nothing worse you can do is to clear it to the middle and hit the striker right in the feet. Well,
and
then
then was it?
Katranis goes to ground to
Yeah,
try to save it, and their guy runs him over, but it was after he cleared it, so they're not going to call a foul on that, and it falls right to Bossy, who
Bossy,
just smashes it in. To
and
be fair, it's a great shot.
it is a great shot, but this is
So the first mistake by Brown is what really set it off.
and but I think this one's a little bit on Beavers, not a ton. If we're going to critique, we've gone all season talking about the fact if you have two half decent keepers, you got none, and that's kind of where we're at. But Beavers is young, and he gets a ton more slack than McMath. But how many times have we seen him
Get
get beat
to the
low to the
near
right
post.
near post?
Ugh.
I mean,
It's
I'm
true.
not
Like,
stopping that for sure. Unless
no,
if I'm
no.
laying down and they kick the ball at me, I'm not trying to say but it is.
Scott Sterling. You might get a Scott Sterling save if they try to hit you in the face. But no, as soon as Katranis hits it, Beaver should have been, bouncing. It's kind of what keepers do, right? They kind of bounce. He should have been bouncing to the right. And if you kind of watch that slow replay, he just takes a little hop and then he gets beat to the near post, which is like a no for keepers, right? At least cover the near post, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
force him. And in the
he touched it, but
US Open Cup, he got beat the near post twice, right?
yeah,
And in other games, it just seems to be for maybe it's just something skill he needs to work on, but getting for as long as he is, you shouldn't be beating him like that because, especially near post. But, I'm not a keeper. I'm not trying to say I would do any better. I wouldn't, but it
yeah,
just seems like it's a pattern and um he's not gonna get interest from other clubs if he gets beat near post all the time.
yeah, consistently and
But
from distance too.
yeah, but he does make some good saves,
Yeah,
and his distribution is not very good at the moment.
yeah,
So
yeah, hit and
yeah,
miss. But you know, the other thing that I thought was interesting is it seemed like Chicho kind of like, I mean, after, unless you want to talk more about that goal, sorry.
well, no, I was just gonna say, I'm not saying that McMaster should start either. I'm saying just if you want to be honest, I'll just say keep Beavers in there. I
Yeah,
mean, at this point, ride or die with him now, and then
yeah.
see where you go at the end of the season. Maybe if he has another like on Wednesday, if
If we
RSL
lose to
gives up,
Dallas 4-0,
yeah, then you know what?
then
Maybe
maybe
that's
just sub.
maybe that Gomez we've never seen.
Yeah, give him a game, see what
Rimany,
happens.
put somebody in there, put somebody else in there, give those two a break, but
Yeah,
it's not working back there. But it's not all his fault either. Like I said, Glad, um, and those the right backs have not been good enough. I shouldn't say that. They have not been good enough for long enough periods of time. And no one's perfect. So yeah,
oh,
so we go down 1-0, and
we're
um
thinking, how are we going to respond? And we didn't respond great. I mean, we want to hold the ball, they want to hold the ball, and they held the ball, right? So, and they were home, to be fair, right? That's what they want to do, and they pretty much did what they wanted to do. What I thought was interesting is Diogo went up top and was playing like the striker. He was playing like in between their center backs, a lot. And when you're not a big dude like Musa is for Dallas coming up, and you're playing that kind of withdrawn false nine between the center backs role, you kind of have to be a little more crafty and a lot more physical in my book to play that role. And Chicho was kind of playing right. He was kind of floating to the center sometimes. And I'm like, I think we're trying to get too cute with this. Just put the striker up top and let him strike, you know? He doesn't have to come into midfield and create. We have lots of guys that can do that. We do not have lots
Yeah.
of guys that can score goals right now.
Yeah. And I thought, later on in the half, um, Brooke had a shot that was half decent that kind of challenged.
Yeah, that's one that worked, right? The ball came into Diego. He played it back to Diego, Luna, and Luna played it to him, to Brooke, and he had a good shot coming in off the left side. Keeper made a great save, and it fell just behind Chicho, who then did what, Brent?
Back heel.
Back heel, right to Houston.
Was that one Chicho again, or was that Diogo?
No, he was passing it to Diogo, but he backheeled it right to, I don't know
Yeah,
who.
and
There.
it all this cutesy stuff. The thing that worked for RSL was positive possession
Yep.
and patient possession. They built up, they got people, they possessed the ball, and then they would do a nice switch and they'd get people off unbalanced, and then they
Yeah.
would have a nice attack. But they were patient and confident, and that is we're not seeing any of that at the moment. It's possession and panic instead of possession and patience, and not a lot of trust between
Yeah.
the teammates. So I don't know. I'll go back to coaching and the mentality gurus. You, you got to step in. You got to figure out how to get these guys to relax and accept the pressure and want to play under the pressure. That's what superstars do. They don't back down. You got to be like Tom Brady or any of these other uh, people that you use as superstars, and
Yeah.
have that mentality and move forward.
Well, and I think Chicho in the 32nd minute, I think that's why he gets his yellow card, right? He kind of gets all feisty and a little over aggressive, and maybe he's trying to charge the team up and try to bring it, kind of a thing. And it didn't quite work, because then right before half, here they come again, and we kind of get caught forward. And then Glad is, way out of position. Katranis is guarding, and yeah, like Griffin Dorsey's like pounding his head into the,
Yeah.
grass, because he had a wide open chance. It was 4-on-3. And that was, he got a shot off, which was a pretty decent shot, but he missed it by a good 6-8 feet, So
Yeah, I don't, the second goal, um,
yeah,
when
let's
they
talk about the
come
second
to,
goal.
so that was after Griffin Dorsey. He had a nice cross on that, just went a little high.
Yeah.
And they come down, and I think one of the things that is lacking on the RSL defense is not a lot of urgency. I think the announcers called it out quite a bit during the game. Where's the urgency? They're just too lackadaisical on that back line, and
Yeah. Yeah, there were
Houston,
four guys
Houston was
behind the
just
ball.
and,
You know, there
and
were four
Houston
guys
just kind
behind
of
the ball.
and Houston just went right through him.
Well, Dorsey brought the ball to the middle, and they're like, wait, are we doing man or zone? It was almost like that. Like, you look at your guys, you're like, you got him or I got him. That's not a good place to be. You want to be decisive as a defender. You don't want to be going, wait, you can't be doing that, because then Dorsey holds the ball up, plays it over to Ayuk, and then Herrera overlaps, and by then we're already in trouble. You know?
And when was the last time you saw RSL play like that? Their goal this season was to play like Houston. And it's been a long time since we've seen some great
Overlapping
overlapping
runs into
play.
the box like that, man.
Yeah, where it has just disappeared. And I think that
Yeah,
comes back to mentality, chemistry,
touch
coaching.
and trust and all that. And in the, Brown's out there on an island. He's trying to guard two guys. If he goes with Herrera, then Ayuk has a shot. So he's like, I don't know, I'm stuck in the middle here. What do I do? And so on the overlap, freaking Quentin ends up going with
Herrera.
Herrera. And the funny thing is it looked to me, and I still can't tell. I've rewatched it like 6 times, but I think it hit off. Like, I think Herrera was trying to get it to Griffin Dorsey, but I think he blocked it a little bit, or did it go right through his legs?
No, I think it hit Griffin Dorsey planted foot on the ground and just ricochets into the goal. I don't
No,
think
I meant like Quentin. Did Quentin deflect it? I
he
couldn't
may
tell.
have.
I tried zooming in, and the picture quality just got poor, so I couldn't tell if he did or not, or if that was just a smooth pass by Ache Ache. But he hurt himself on that play.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how.
uh, I think I was trying to figure that out too. I don't know if he kind of stubbed his foot, maybe a hip flexor or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, but
zigged himself somehow, but
yeah, I think it was almost not a lucky goal because they had a beautiful build up there and they were just kind of going at RSL at will. You can't blame Beavers for that. I don't know. It was kind of just a lucky deflection. Maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. But really disappointing way to end the first half.
yeah. And there was a slight, Ponce was by Beavers and kind of got in his way, but you couldn't tell definitively that he was offside or not, from the
Yeah,
first
and
touch and the second touch. And it was like,
there was a hint of obstruction there, but I think he was past Beavers, and
yeah,
I
not
don't
definitive enough.
not enough to where he's standing right in front of him and Beavers, because that was the only saving grace they might have is if he's directly in front of Beavers and he's offside, but Quentin is right there on the line keeping everybody on.
Yeah, and the funny thing is it was right in his hand, like it was in his like reach, but he just missed it. It was like, that wasn't great reflex, but I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either, right? Kind of going back to what we were saying, like, yeah,
If we were to rate them, that first goal, I would be much more critical of Beavers on that first goal
yeah,
because it was a shot from distance. He should be on that near post and nothing should get by that near post. He's a big kid,
yeah,
lots of reach. This one, you know, if we wanted to be really harsh on the first
just
one,
bang
maybe
bang, yeah,
the first one, maybe say, hey, out of 6 out of 10, he should have had that. 7 out of 10, he should have had that first goal. This one, 2, 3 out of 10. This is one maybe he's lucky he gets a nice little kick save, it hits his foot.
right.
But
But
I
we're not getting that from our
no.
keepers now, Brent. We're not.
Well, that comes back to chemistry too. When you're playing together and you're playing for it as a team, good things happen. And I don't know, maybe they need more sage at halftime. Who knows?
Yeah,
Get get that stuff cleaned out.
right.
So we
Clean out
go
all the
in,
evil spirits, right?
yeah, all the evil Texas uh bull
Humanity.
crap. Yeah.
Then I thought it was strange in the 50th minute when we were like, oh, we're gonna get halftime first. We should do halftime first, right?
Yeah, we can do
Okay.
quick halftime. Halftime.
All
Since
right.
Brennan's not here to
Ready to
really
do.
And
right.
we're back.
Halftime is brought to you by I Love You Bro Project.org. Our friend over at I Love You Bro Project, Joe Tuiaana, is changing the world one bro at a time. Joe is the founder and CEO of the nonprofit dedicated to men's mental health, suicide prevention, and ongoing personal development. His job right now is to try to get people, especially men who are 35 to 64, they account for 4 times the rate of suicide in Utah. 80% of the suicides in Utah are men. So this is an issue. It's something that Brant and I are really passionate about. Suicide prevention, and we really want to promote hope, wellness, and a better quality of life for all men. That's one of the reasons why Brant and I started this podcast, is so that we could agree on something, because we agree on almost nothing. But we do agree on RSL. We love them, and we love you, bro. So if you can jump on I love you bro project.org, donate, or you can participate. Joe is a fantastic person, and he's out there trying to help make a difference and save people's lives. There's some cool stories where he pulled people off bridges, just by saying, "Hey, I love you, bro," and getting involved. So if you don't know anyone who's struggling with that, that's okay. That's good. That
Well, that's
means
the point.
yeah,
You
that means you're
don't
in a
you
good place.
don't know
You
who
never,
is struggling.
yeah,
You
yep,
like I know that I've had situations in my life, haven't got close, but I've had those thoughts and I've struggled with um being positive, but it life comes at you fast, bro. Sometimes things are incredibly challenging and you just do not know who is struggling. And that's the problem with this is people put on a great mask and you you don't know um, who, and men are notorious for not asking these questions with each other, like, how are you doing? Or how are you really doing?
yeah, yep, yeah. Women are a little better at that than men, and we tend to bottle it up and kick it out. But 988, guys, it's the 911 for suicide prevention. 988, use it. But if you're not quite there, if you're not there, then get involved. I love you bro project.org. There's a bike and car show coming up. Get involved, become a sponsor, support Joe and his mission. And that's something we're really passionate about as well. We love you, bro. So hang in there. 988 if that's a struggle for you today.
Yeah, and we're glad to be partnering with him.
Yep. Yep. All
What
right.
about anything else for halftime? We do have an interview coming up that
Oh
later on
yeah,
in the
that's right.
episode.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
going to
Go
talk
say
with
Tellez.
the starter, the creator, the owner, the CEO, and any other probably acronym and uh, 3-letter designation is his
Yeah.
goals.tv.com, right?
Nope. Goals.tv. That's it.
Goals.tv.
Yep.
You can add on the .com. I don't know where it's going to go,
It's not going to
but
put you in the right place.
no, you just stop at TV, goals.tv. All kinds. We are on there. We
Yep.
put our podcast on there, and there's all kinds of other MLS, USL, World Soccer programs, product on goals.tv. So we chat with him. He's sadly an FC Dallas fan. So
Yeah.
we chat
That's
with
why
him
we chat with
about,
him this week.
yeah.
Get a preview there. All right. Who's your orange slice this week, Brant? Who do you give the
Let's
orange
see.
slice of the week to? Oh,
Uh,
sorry. Camera.
lock. There you go.
That's
Random
the
fan.
Random Fan Orange Slice podcast. Wait.
Put it in front of your face.
Yeah,
It was disappearing.
yeah, I know.
There you go, right there. Now we can see. If you're a good boy or a good girl, we'll give you one
Your
of
own orange slice.
your
Woo-hoo!
own orange slice sticker. Lachlan Brook got my orange slice. I think he's dynamic. I think he's quick. I think he wants to be the chaotic replacement for the chaos that the the great chaos that positive chaos that Andres Gomez brought. And I think that we've got something there. Maybe not Andres Gomez level, but somebody that is going to be a contributor with RSL for a long time. And I think he really wants to be here. So my orange slice, Lachlan Brook.
Yeah, yeah, I have to go to the other side and get Diego Luna. I think he played pretty well as well. He didn't give the ball away in any sort of, going backwards sort of way. And man, we did not play great, For large
Yeah,
stretches of this game, it was hard to even think of who to give orange slices to in the first half. And they both had a couple of half chances. Lachlan had a clear chance, but just I think Diego's closer to combining. If we can get Diego, Giogo, and Chicho all combining just a touch better, I think we can do it, but
yeah.
doesn't look good yet.
No, and Matt Crooks doesn't even see the game. So
Yeah, he didn't see the game this one.
so yeah,
Maybe they were
there's
saving him for Wednesday.
maybe it's just it's crazy how far the team has come apart when it comes to chemistry. But chemistry comes, chemistry goes. And I thought with the victory against New England, that was enough to catapult them into some cohesive play and some positive play, and did not happen.
And
So
to be fair, I mean, if we're going off of stats at the end of the game, the expected goals was 2.3 for Houston, and we were 1.1. So based on the way they play and the typical chances taken, it should have been 2-1. But it ended 4. Spoiler alert.
yeah. So halftime, anything else for halftime? Should we jump into
No,
halftime?
no,
Uh, yeah.
second half. Let's get after it.
Second half, right before
Sub
the
at
half,
halftime. Yeah.
sub at halftime, Bodie Hidalgo comes in for Javane Brown, which wasn't a surprise. I think you could
Pablo
have
had seen enough.
I think you could have subbed quite a few players in the first half. I mean, there wasn't anyone that covered themselves in a lot of glory. I mean, Ojeda, Anelli, horrible. I mean, just bad giveaways. Justin Glad, bad giveaway. Um, no urgency along the back. So,
Yeah,
uh,
and they subbed right before half, which I thought was interesting too. Uh,
yeah,
they Herrera came out after that goal and appeared injured, and Quals.
Kowalczyk.
There you go. Thanks. He came in, and then it looked like we were going to see a different RSL side. We started going after it a little bit more. We had a couple of half chances, and then out of nowhere, Bodie just lobs this ball up and over. Did you see that one?
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to get back to. I lost my video. Oh, there it is. Um, yeah, and at first I thought, okay, that's a nice, dangerous ball from Bodie, right?
Yeah.
And
He put
it
it
looked
where it was
like,
going to bounce, right? So it bounced.
and the first I thought it was going to, my first thought was penalty because I thought the defender took down Chicho, and then I thought, oh, we'll just go with a goal. No penalty, go with a goal. And it just kind of deflected off the defender. But it's the kind of thing we need to see a lot more, getting behind, danger. I'm glad it went in, but I really thought that if it hadn't gone in, they should have called a penalty
Yeah. I don't
on
know if
that
they would
play.
have, but they sure should have, as he just bowled over Chicho
Put
with his
a
arm right in his back, shoved
Yeah,
him to the
forearm right through
ground.
his back.
Yep.
And
And then accidentally
one
kicked the
thing
ball
with
over his own keeper and
uh,
in.
and one thing, oh, Chicho,
Struggling tonight, Brent. You all right, man?
yeah, yeah.
Give it a couple of these, man. Come on.
I'm trying to cut back on my caffeine.
Start doing
And
some power squats. That'll get it.
yeah. But I think Chicho has just been a little too demonstrative, and I think that's kind of instead of playing the game, he's trying to play the game and get some calls, and it's just not working out. You just gotta keep playing. But it looked like it's like, all right, 2-1. RSL's back in this game. They got their derrieres bit off during halftime. And here we go. This is the team that I expected to show up in the first half against Houston, and was just not the case.
Well, and that goal kind of shows Houston's weakness. Houston's weakness is balls over the top. They don't have speedy defenders. Steris was playing outside back, for heaven's sakes. He's a center back and he was playing out on the side. Like, we could have taken advantage of those guys a little bit better and their non-speed. Him and Sviatchenko are not the speediest dudes on the pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and speaking of non-speed, because it happens right after this in the 56th minute, RSL gets behind Houston. They come forward, and we get just a great counter attack. Luna
yeah, did you
finds
like the way that got set up? Did you see the setup on that?
as go ahead, lead us through it.
No, so like, we played the ball out wide and then who was it? Was it Giogo? Jogo? Who was it?
Yeah, it might have been Giogo finds Lunes, who finds, was it
Was it Luna?
Ojeda?
Yeah, Luna.
Luna
Luna
found
Ojeda.
it,
All right. We got it up now. Okay.
it could have been Ojeda to Luna to Diogo, who finds Catranis right at the top of the in at the half line. And
Yeah, Jay Glad stepped up and won it. He played it outside to Luna, who played it back into the middle, and Jogo just quick switched it in behind to Chicho, who just took off. He held off the defender, their speedy guy, took it to his left so he could set up his shot. And dude, Brown, freaking, their keeper is the smallest keeper in the league. He had all the places to shoot the ball, but and he's the best on the team at doing this, at taking the hit and then still delivering the ball. But he took the hit and the hit kind of pushed him off just enough that when he pushed that ball out, it just went inches wide. It might have even nicked the post, but just went wide.
the other thing too was Luna was making a nice run. And you want Chicho taking the shot, but there was that option there on that play for him to drop it, maybe backheel it back to Luna.
Yeah, definitely
And
a back heel.
but there
Oh,
was an
he was
opportunity
ahead.
there but
He was
for
ahead. He should have just finished. Yeah.
um but he should have done a better job. It
Yeah.
should have been 2-2, and then maybe we do have a different situation there. But
And then we got to the point where we just tried to poke every ball away and we played Pocadilly defense. And it was ridiculous and frustrating that we would not just win the ball cleanly and play up the field. We were just poking it away and hoping it didn't go to them. We weren't paying attention where we were poking it. We would poke it at each other. Catranis cleared it off of like a couple times, just cleared it off his own team. You're like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So,
yeah,
and
and
then we
then
got another weak header by Brooke.
it was a nice play, just couldn't get it on frame. And then there was a who was it Brook again, or was that Ojeda with a nice stinger later on? But we were knocking on the door, but the urgency just didn't seem to be there on defense.
Yeah,
And
Diogo had a 70th minute shot that I was like, oh, here it goes. It fell to our DP at the top of the box. he's gonna pick out that corner with the little baby goalkeeper and scores a big bad big man goal, and he kicked it right at him. It was very
Yeah.
sad. I was very depressed after that. I was
Yeah,
like,
and then
man,
the 70th, 75th minute, Karaskia. RSL was just kind of letting Houston pass the ball around them some more. But Karaskia wasn't a great pass into the middle. I think Glad steps up and knocks it back, but it goes right back to Karaskia. And then who got the third goal?
yeah,
Kowalczyk. And he lines it up. There's three RSL defenders
and
right
nobody
there.
dives in.
Uh, Glad misses it. Um, Brody, I think is that Brody he was in by
Yeah.
that time. And
Glad
just a
like
lovely
reached, and instead of stopping the ball and winning the ball and playing it to us, he poked it and it went to Karaskia, right? To my point earlier. And
uh-huh.
Karaskia is calm and brings it down, and Glad steps, and you, you know, nobody covers. Bad coverage. Like you gotta step out and do it. Even if you're gonna take, I mean, every now and then you're gonna take a penalty on one of those. You're gonna step in and strong leg it, and somebody's gonna go right past you, and you're gonna give up a penalty. But it's better than weak sauce all the time, right? Just pour some weak sauce on that.
Oh
Ah,
yeah. And then if
so
you want
weak.
to talk about weak sauce, we can talk about how not to end a game.
Yeah,
And it's total weak sauce by essentially giving the keeper, the goalkeeper of the opposing team, a hockey assist, right?
yeah,
Uh,
wasn't that nice?
yeah, so it's the 80th minute, and there's no pressure on him, right? RSL looks like they've just kind of given up anyway. And Steve Clark sends a nice ball over the top, finds a former RSL killer, what's his name? The little
Retief blessing.
Latif Blessing, who nutmegs Glad, finds the onrushing Houston player who split two RSL defenders, gets around
Well,
Beavers,
yeah, and just
and
finishes easily.
yeah, it's kind of a similar play
Uh,
that's the similar play that Chicho went wide on one with the keeper and the defender. And they're playing with confidence. They know they've got RSL's number. RSL, I don't know how they do it, but they need to get back to playing like they were earlier in the season with
well,
confidence, patience, and teamwork. But this isn't going to help.
no, it doesn't help at all. And Katranis is aggressive going forward. He really is, and that's why Latif Blessing got in behind him. And then Glad had to cover and shift, and then Katranis had to cover back where Glad was, and then nobody even got there. Katranis was too slow getting back to cover Ponce, and Quentin's running back, but he's on the wrong side of the field.
And then they were lucky they didn't give up another goal.
Yeah, in the
Well, I mean,
95th minute, right? Like again,
yeah,
dive and poke strategy. Like,
yes.
stop it.
So just really overall
And to
disappointing.
be fair, the ref sucked. I mean, let's be fair. He was so kind to the other team for the first like 8 or 10 calls. He just gave every single one to Houston. That was so nice of John Freeman. I think he's refed us. We've lost every time. I could be wrong, and I could just be making that up.
You
But the
might be.
last couple games, I don't think he's done a great job for us. I really don't. I just don't think he rose to the occasion this time.
Yeah,
And
I thought Houston got away with some. I think he could have pulled out a yellow in the first half earlier. I'll agree with you there, but at the same time, you know what, Alex Catranis, you can't be an idiot in the 63rd minute on yellow card suspension and give anyone an opportunity to, whether it was your fault or the other player's fault. 63rd minute, he takes down,
shoves
looks
the
like
man down. Yeah.
and they have a kerfuffle over there. right before he's getting subbed out. So now you sub him out, and Catranis won't be in the lineup on
But
Wednesday.
also, if two players are scuffling and they shove each other down, don't you usually yellow card them both?
Well, I tried to get a good look of the replay. They didn't really show a replay, and it looked like um, from what I saw, maybe it was Catranis. It could have been both, but obviously it probably came from the
Yeah, it's the
AR.
guy sticking the leg in, and then Katrana's just giving him the shove. And you know what? It's both of them. And it always is. And you always get caught when you react to stuff like that.
So don't
So,
react like that. You
right.
know, it's just a symptom of what's going on with this team. So Brody had come in the 64th minute for Catranis, like we talked about. Julio came in for Brook, of all people. What Julio could have come in for Chicho or Diogo.
I was
Uh,
thinking he's got to be coming in for Jogo. And he didn't. And Jogo played the whole 90. And I was like, why? You can't
yeah,
even find him. He can't find the ball. He's not working hard. Like I honestly, I was like, why? I did
yeah,
not
yeah,
understand that. I just like leave Brook in. He's the only one doing anything. He's the only one getting close.
yeah. It looks
They
like
pulled him out for Julio, and
Diogo. I think he has a cousin, Johnny Menendez. But anyway,
yeah, yeah, I think they're cousins. Oh,
they
floppy
certainly
McFlopper. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't
and
last long in the league though. That's the downside of
yeah. And then Mark Suk came in for Luna, and I thought
that.
Mark Suk had some. He looked like he had some bright energy, but I don't
And he
know
looked
what.
like a teenager playing with men.
Yeah, running around, but at least
Yeah,
he's
running
doing some.
around, making noise, kicking stuff.
But what 14 minutes, 13 minutes. What do you expect him to? And Caliscania for an L. I don't know. I mean, we had to trade for the the international spot for because of Caliscan. So
No,
we had
that's why
yeah,
we did
that's
that trade.
yeah, because we
So we
had to
could
get
keep Noel.
yeah, because
Oh boy.
Caliscan takes up an international spot. That's what I read.
Oh man.
So yeah, just not a great performance overall. And we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
Towards the end of the game, though, Brant, we were starting to be a little embarrassed of the effort that was going on out there because
Yeah, I think
that's what lit up Facebook was people getting embarrassed, and so they were starting to lash out, and then the other fans were like, "What? If you're a fair weather fan?" And then the other fans were like, "Shut up, we can be mad if we want to, because that just means we're real fans because we're disappointed in their effort." So it's kind
yeah,
of like,
yeah, I don't think and maybe it's because I'm old, but I know when I used to be overly passionate. And
yeah,
that's a fantastic way to be as a fan. Not trying to say there's all different kinds of way to fan. And I just think that's people take offense, like they take it really personal if you say, "Hey, RSL sucked tonight." Well, oh, well, you couldn't do better. So I think if you look at it in a pragmatic way, this team is not the team it was at the start of the season. What are the reasons for that? I don't know. Uh, the switching up, I think the chemistry was lacking long before Gomez was shipped out. That didn't necessarily help, but at the same time, something's got to give and they got to figure it out. And they don't have much time. And if we don't finish in the top four, I think this season might. How can you not figure this season as anything other than disappointment?
yeah,
Unless the regular season
right,
was for the regular season, not finishing uh, in the top four could be considered a disappointment. Who knows if they will? What they got 6 games to prove us wrong and say to finish in the top four. But the regular season will probably be disappointed, especially if they have to go on the road in the playoffs. But if they make a nice playoff run, then the season doesn't negate the fact that they did not finish strong. But You
But
still got to play the games.
my least favorite stat of the week is RSL started as a 17 goal differential, ended at a 14 goal differential, and LA Galaxy took over the lead in the West for goal differential at 17. And then LAFC are at 14, tied with us on goal differential. Colorado are only at +9. Seattle and
And
Vancouver are at +11, and Houston's now at +9 as well. And that rounds out the top 8 spots, or playoff spots.
yeah, and RSL is now in fourth.
Fourth
If the
behind
playoffs,
the
Colorado,
Colorado Rapids, who
if the
had a
playoffs,
comeback win against Portland.
if the playoffs started today, we would be in fourth.
Nine
Colorado
three
has,
and one at home, 4-4-7 on the road, which is
which
not a bad road record,
no,
but
not at all.
3 losses at home.
And we have 7 losses, right?
Yep.
And we only had three losses in the first 20 games. So in the last 8, we've lost 4.
Not good.
So it's not trending in the right direction. But that's why we've got FC Dallas on Wednesday, so that we can
Get back on
really
the right track.
get back on track. And they mentioned in what I saw interesting is that RSL has done well with teams below them in the standings,
Yeah.
but they've
Like San
struggled with
Jose now with it.
teams. But they've struggled with teams above them in the standings. But they have a great opportunity with they've got Portland and do they play Minnesota again? They've got Vancouver and an Austin, and do they have another San Jose? So so they've got an opportunity to really uh, solidify third or fourth place if they want to. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, it's time for the Come On Crawley update, right? That's what you've been waiting for,
I have.
right?
Yep. That is
Yeah.
what I have
You
been
want
waiting
to
for.
have you want to finish on a strong note. And yeah, they did. They had a home game against Stockport, which is one of I think they were in second place in League One going into the game. They also had former Crawley Town standout Gory Adai between the pipes against Crawley. He went to Stockport. They're paying him good money, and we ended up giving up an early dumb goal, but they've got a guy in Barry who's just lighting it up in League One and probably ought to be in the championship. He's that good for Stockport. Scored an early goal, kind of looked reminiscent of the RSL defense, just cutting across the top and people sticking a foot out and sends in a nice shot across the keeper. And we do have a good keeper in Ellicott. And then they played well at home, and we ended up getting a penalty in the second half, scoring a penalty, and finishing the game 1-1, which is a really good result for Crawley Town. They've lost 2 previous league matches, so it was good. It was a good game, nice, solid return to form. We're still trying to figure out with all the changes how this team plays well together, but they do. They play the way I love to see, like RSL was playing earlier in the season. They possess the ball out of the back. They try and uh, possess and move forward with purpose. They just don't want to kick a ball around the back. They want to get their opponents unbalanced so they can attack. And so it was a good return to form. I'll take the point even if it was at home. So it was exciting. It was a good game. Good game. And then, of course, the Black Tarantulas. Wow, what a game. It must have been 47 to 65. I mean, we had a lot of goals.
Well,
Just
just
couldn't
back and forth, huh?
back and forth, back and forth. They did score a lot of goals. So I guess got to work on our defense. But
They're 5, so
they're 5. Yeah, it was really good. Not too many tears. About stepped on a kid because he was sitting down during the game like you do, and
Like you do when you're
yeah,
4 or 5. Yeah,
yeah, and I about fell over and broke my hip. That would have been embarrassing.
that would be
But
cool. You'd have
yeah,
a fun story.
yeah, how fell over, broke my hip, and then 5-year-olds jumped on me, giving me CPR. So yeah,
Well, Brant, we're 4 games into the Premier League season. I don't know if you knew that or not. Man
yeah, and
City has 4 wins. Arsenal has 3 wins and a draw. Newcastle has 3 wins and a draw. And there's your top three.
I just hate Man City. So I don't know. I didn't think I could dislike that team more, and
There
I
we
do.
go. Yeah,
I
here we
just do. I was just like, come on, when are they going to finish up their violations and get them out of here? I just
drop
it did
down
it.
out of but they don't want him out of the Premier League, Brant.
No, of
That's the
course
problem. They
not.
make him too much money. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
They
Liverpool lost. That was fun. They lost to Nottingham Forest, and they
yeah, that's
pretty much just parked the bus the whole game. So it's funny.
yeah. Then they score early and uh
Park the
again,
bus.
and it's the first time they'd beaten uh Liverpool in like since the 60s or something. It'd been
Yeah,
at Anfield too, right? It was at
yeah,
Liverpool.
yep. In Liverpool, crazy.
And then if you look at the bottom of the table, holy cow.
We have 4
Everton.
losses from Everton and
Everton,
Southampton.
Southampton, but Everton is the first EPL team since a couple seasons ago. I can't remember when it was, but they 2 games in a row, up 2-0, give up 3 goals to lose 3-2. It's
Got
gonna
some
be
work to do up north. They have a
and
derby with Liverpool, so I'm guessing they're in Liverpool or right around it, Liverpool.
the Merseyside derby,
Because we all know that Merseyside means what, Brant?
ferry
Oh,
across the Mersey. It's a river.
it's a river.
I think
And
the Mersey River.
okay, so
And Everton is up there by
they're
Liverpool,
on the
right?
north or on the south. And we don't see
You're
we don't know
asking
enough
you're
about
asking the
these things.
wrong
Yeah.
person. I have no idea about directions. I have been my
But
brain doesn't work that way.
Ipswich Town, the smallest club Brant's ever seen make the Premier League, is not in last place with 2 ties.
No, I don't think any of the teams that were promoted was Southampton promoted.
Yeah, Southampton,
So okay, I was gonna
Ipswich,
say,
and Leicester.
and oh, okay, so they're all right there. I was gonna see if
Yep, 2, 2, and 0.
and then so yeah, and then they've if we go back to League One, Wrexham got pummeled by Birmingham 3-1, so that's good.
Yeah, Tom Brady wins. Good job. More Tom Brady wins. Thanks, Tom Brady.
And I was looking at the it came up on Twitter, so I gotta get into some Twitter fights every once in a while. But it came up about Wrexham, and I looked it up. They're like fourth or fifth. Their budget, their player wages, $6 million for the year, which is fifth or sixth. Birmingham is like 12 million. There's another, I think Reading is up there at 7 or 8 million. So there's another one up there at 9 million. Any guess on what Crawley Town's wage budget is for the
6 million.
for the entire season, League One, Crawley Town? It's less than 6 million. Try again. They're second to last. There's one team that pays less than Crawley Town.
4 million.
1.8.
Wow.
Their entire team is paid $1.8 million for the season. So that's the budget that Crawley Town is working with compared to the 6.8 for Wrexham and some other teams. So there is quite the disparity in the teams and the way they pay their players in English football because they don't have a salary cap, which helps with parity like we enjoy in a lot of American sports. So there. In case you were, I can tell you were not wondering about that, but thought I'd bring it up anyway. All right. So before we leave, we've got we're not leaving just yet. We've got an interview coming up with Jose Tellez, like we mentioned, with Goals.tv. But please do us a favor. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you get your social media. We're on Facebook for the really old guys. We should probably get a Hotmail account and an AOL account too, to really capture all of the demographics.
And
And
hit up our boy Joe Tuyana on I Love You Bro Project.org.
and subscribe to YouTube and Goals.tv. And just hang on a sec. We're going to get to an interview with Jose Tellez. Jose Tellez, the owner, and is that right? The owner or the creator of Goals.tv, your source for all kinds of soccer content in the United States, around the world as well.
Correct.
Bromigo, welcome in.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, guys. This is a great time, obviously, for us to be getting together. I appreciate that intro, by the way. Creator, owner, all of those words sound good to me. But no, man, we got some midweek madness ahead of us between RSL and Dallas. I'm excited to talk about it.
We're glad to have you on to talk about the game coming up. Two teams going in different directions. Is that fair to say? How's FC Dallas is currently sitting in 10th place, and are they rocketing up the table? We've been up so high up the table, I haven't even looked down all season. But so far, but currently, RSL is doing their very best to plummet down the table. We're now
to just give it away. We just dropped our goal differential. We were tops in the West. We're just falling down and letting LA Galaxy walk all over everybody. Mass hysteria.
The Rapids are currently ahead of us too.
Well, they're tied, right?
But we'll say on points, but they have one more victory, and so wins as the first tiebreaker. So tell us, for those of us who haven't followed FC Dallas, I'm a notorious Ferreira disliker. The kid, he just kind of bugs me. There's a few players out there. He's not up there with Diego Chara, but as someone that just annoys, I have to have a few people that annoy me. But tell us about your FC Dallas. Tell us about the hoops.
Diego Chara is so random, by the way. I thought that was interesting. It's on brand for you guys, 100%. So yeah, for those who haven't followed FC Dallas, right? Not if you just started tuning into MLS, I want to just go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. This team does not normally perform like this throughout the regular season. All right, done. We said it. We moved on. Where they are today, we see that outside one spot outside of the wild card. And I will say right now, it's looking 50-50 at best as to whether or not Dallas makes playoffs, which means every game moving forward, the remaining 6, or depending on who you are, 7 games that are left, I wouldn't say they're all must wins, but this one is right up there. And just because of where Minnesota United is and the form that they're in right now at the moment, they're the team that's sitting in 9th. They're right above us, 5 points ahead. This game on the road before we take on LAFC at home at the weekend, it feels like a must win. And so right now, I was talk about it a little bit before the show, Brant. You guys are catching Dallas at an interesting time. For the majority of the season, we have never really had our DPs at our disposal. Musa's kind of been the only one. Ferreira's been in and out of the lineup due to injury all season long. In fact, I don't even think he's started double-digit games in MLS this season. I could be wrong. Someone could fact check me on that, but it's very minimal in comparison to what it typically is. Yeah, and Velasco
10 games started.
10 games, yeah. So just there, right? And that last one in Vancouver was probably the 10th. So if you can factor in on top of that, Velasco, we're just getting him back, right? Tore his ACL last season, was easily one of our most prolific players. We're just getting him back, but he's still kind of getting up to speed with things. And then you have Musa. But for the first time, I would say the second time this season, RSL is going to be taking on Dallas, and this will be the one time where all 3 DPs should be available and ready to go. And so
Musa is that kind of like big man player. I respect that because I'm a big white guy, and for a soccer player, I'm a big guy, So it's kind of that post up forward, dig in, and get physical with the center backs. Most center backs don't like that. So, but I mostly played center back. So I kind of, I kind of
And he's a good finisher.
I know.
I think what's crazy about Musa is that, like, yeah, his body is, I mean, the guy's a physical freak. He kind of, just seems to bulldoze past most back lines for the most part. And I mean, he's 3 goals shy of Chicho. I think in some of those instances, it's literally been his finishing ability that's been able to get him over the line and get his goal tally to where it is, because the service isn't always there with Dallas. And so with the minimal amount of chances he gets, I feel pretty good usually about Musa converting. But that's just it, right? He has to get fed. And so, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Well, and how do you feel about Paul Arriola? Is he slowing down a bit? Is he aging? What's going on there?
You know what's interesting? I think he actually had a better season. This is probably the best I've seen Arriola play since 21, 22, maybe one of those 2 seasons. It's been a couple years since we've seen like a great Arriola season, and in that season previously that I'm mentioning, it was more with goal contributions. He had probably his highest tally since DC United days.
Yeah.
And now it's more of like all the other stuff he's doing. He kind of feels a little more like a captain on the field. I think he's had that armband for a while now, but I feel like he's doing the little things that Peter Lusson is asking him to do as interim manager. So it may not be reflected in the stat line per se, but I'll be honest, like off the ball, he's working harder than I've seen him work in a while. Maybe it's that new dad energy. I have no idea. Like he just became a dad this season. I mean, that could definitely be it.
Right.
But I feel like we're also playing him more to his strength. We tried him at outside back. He's not just playing winger anymore. He's moving around the pitch, and I feel like he's still pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I think 4 goals, 5 assists on the season. So not big numbers for him, but he is upping his yellow cards. So he's up. I think he's at seems like he's at a 6 on the season. So seems like a lot for him.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of instances he's been tried out at right back, which he hasn't played since like the earliest days of his MLS career. So getting back to
you're
that,
a little guy, you can figure it out, right? Like,
yeah. But think about it, right? He's also pretty quick, for the most part. He's also an attacker out and out. So I think him being able to read what a winger's going to do as they tee him up and try to take him on 1v1, and it allows him to be scrappy. You mentioned his card count, right? It's probably higher than normal. He's gotten into it with a couple players. I like seeing that. There's a little bit of fire in him. I can tell he still wants to really try his hardest to get Dallas over the line. So I've been less critical of Arriola this season as more than I have in previous seasons, because I've been pretty critical of him in the past.
And how is Paxton Pomykal coming along? He had a season-ending injury, which is never good, but he was always someone that seemed to have RSL's number. He's always played well against RSL. So, is there anybody on the team that might take his place? You think might have sneak up on us and wreak havoc on RSL on Wednesday?
Yeah, I do actually. If you asked me this like 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, I probably would have said no. I don't think we have like a true direct replacement to Pomykal, who may go down as like one of the biggest what if players in recent memory for Dallas, just because he's kind of had nagging injury issues, and we know how good of a player he really is as a homegrown. But I don't know. This season was bad. I was kind of upset with how we didn't prepare for him to have the season-ending injury. He never kicked the season off really. He came on as a substitute in one game. I think he started one other one, and that was really it. That was his 2024 season. But I think a person that stepped up tremendously, probably since the firing of Nico Estevez and since Lusson became interim manager, has been Sebastian Lletget. And it's really surprised me. I think, goal contributions, the numbers will be there. You'll see them, they've definitely ticked up, especially for his age. I think he's 30, 31 years old. But in addition to that, it's like the decisions he's making, his ball carrying ability. He almost frees up Mendy to be a little more of a true holding mid and not the all-in utility guy to be all over the midfield and impact every part of the game like he had to when we signed him for last season. So no, I think Lletget's going to be the guy that you guys will probably want to close down sooner rather than later, because I feel like the link up play between him and Musa has actually been solid. I think there's probably a good correlation there. Like when Lletget started playing well and when Musa's goal tally started to actually go up this season.
I do like Lletget. He's one of those players that is just a solid MLS pro that you want on your team. He reminds me of Ilie Sanchez and his rebirth at LAFC, and even like Kai Kamara. I've always liked Kai Kamara wherever he goes. I don't know He's been around, but he
Yeah, he is.
always someone that adds to the team, and it's great to have
Yeah.
those
Plus,
kind of players
I
on
think
team.
your Instagram followers doubled when he switched over to Dallas. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
Maybe. I don't keep track of the Instagram following, but I think I think at the end of the day, man, it's just legit. I mean, look, and also, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. It's always funny to think about, right? But like, he had a very public relationship with a music artist, Becky G, and then like there was, I don't know, weird part of the start of the season there was like some drama there or something, and now it's like I don't know if they patch things up or what's happening, but he's playing again. He's making it work. He's got me inspired.
Yep, yep. No, he's definitely one of those guys that ticks up on the Instagram. So I think he's got a huge following. I think he's top in MLS. I think it's Messi and then him, but I could be wrong.
Wow, that's a
I
hell of a
mean,
following. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, yeah, guys got fans. And look, I definitely have become not. I've never really been a legit hater. Even the signing itself when it happened didn't make a ton of sense to me, but I think right now we don't really have many other playmakers that start in the middle of the park. All of our playmakers right now are in our basically our front three. And so having someone like legit, especially as experienced as he is, as you alluded to, that's it's a huge bonus for us.
yeah, you guys have had really consistent goalkeeper play too from Paz. I
Mm.
voted for him for goalkeeper for the All-Star game and everything. I don't know who Brant voted for.
I went straight down the homer.
Oh, you
Any
just went
RSL
Homer?
player
Oh
I could
man.
find, I voted with. I
I
voted
like it.
for.
The
Anyone with
agenda, the
cobalt
agenda.
and
I
claret.
wasn't messing around.
Oh,
Um,
Paz has been he's been really consistent for you guys. And it
Insane, man.
seems like the goals that you guys have been giving up, not really his fault, right? He's not dropping balls in, he's not shanking stuff, like maybe some RSL keepers have struggled with.
we've had a long discussion, a season-long discussion about the goalkeeping situation at RSL, and when you have two half-decent goalkeepers, you really have none. That's kind of where we're at. Zach
Mm.
McMath did was really stellar for a early part of the season, and I don't know what happened. The pressure of keeping Gavin Beavers on the bench because he's a player that has all of the upside, they believe, but it's turned out. And when he's come on, Beavers is he's really given up a ton of goals. Maybe not all his fault, but you can almost guarantee that
Yeah, it was like,
we're
is the
good.
team worse with him in there? Doesn't seem like they're really his fault goals, most of them, but
Mm.
yeah, we're getting terribly inconsistent play on RSL side. But
Yeah.
Haas has been a great spot for Dallas, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's probably outside of Musa, and you can even go back and forth and have that debate. Who's
Right.
been better, who's been the best player for Dallas. It's been a combo of those two, Boss and Musa. I think with Boss, it's going to be bittersweet. I think, in all honesty, it's probably his last season in MLS, in my opinion. In summer, Empoli from Serie A were knocking. They were potentially going to make an offer. Dallas was kind of closing the door on that to see if we could make a push for playoffs. But I think either way, he's also playing well at the national team level for Indonesia. He just had a great set of qualifiers for the World Cup. So
Wait,
I
he's
really,
Indonesian?
he is Indonesian by
Really?
citizenship. By citizenship. Yeah, he's
Oh, okay.
actually
I thought
Dutch.
he was
He's a Dutch
Dutch. Yeah.
keeper. Yeah, he's a Dutch keeper.
Okay.
But
But he's not
uh,
getting Dutch national team time. So
yeah, but it's not even just that. I think in Indonesia, the citizenship there was like an ode to, I don't know if it was a family member, might have been a relative of some kind. But there are folks close to him, and that was the specific reason why he pursued that path. And
okay.
so yeah, so and then of course from that part of the world, there just I guess aren't a ton of high quality keepers. But in my opinion, man, like especially with what I saw in those qualifiers, I did watch both of those games. Made some lights out saves, saved a PK against a very good Saudi Arabia team.
Wow.
Yeah, Boss is to me quality through and through. I mean, he does have he actually doesn't really have too many negative moments. He did have one against Colorado that I thought cost us the game. But to be fair, he had several other saves that you argue had he not made the save, the game would have been over a long time ago. So, it's kind of a catch-22. But yeah, I rate Paz heavily, and like I was in Columbus for the All-Star game, really to see him. I definitely hope he stays, but I'm expecting him to fully leave MLS after this season.
Yeah, how was that trip to the All-Star game, man? Tell us a little bit about
Oh man, it was fantastic. Honestly, Tuesday was probably, in my opinion, the more fun of the day, but only because like when it comes to All-Star anything, NBA, NHL, MLB, whatever it may be, I appreciate the skills competitions more than anything else.
it. Yeah.
The game is fun, but sometimes it feels like not that they're not trying, right? But it's just not quite as competitive as you want it to be, even if it is League IMX All Stars on the other side of the pitch. But the skills challenges were fun. The atmosphere was great. Seeing other creators there was awesome. Yeah, man, just had a great time. And of course, seeing Boss, get like suited up and go out there and kind of participate in all of it. To have FC Dallas representation there was also just a pretty damn good time.
That's awesome. Was Luna
So
playing much? I mean, did you interact with him at all?
With who?
Luna?
Oh, Luna was there. Luna was there. It's funny enough. I didn't know what to expect from Columbus in terms of like the fan base and how they'd react to certain players.
Yeah.
I did see Luna play, and obviously that's the kid's so talented. I love watching him. But he for some reason he didn't get like it wasn't booze like it was for Lucha, but like just for it like wasn't the great reception that I think other players probably got. I don't know why. Maybe there's some sort of like weird, I don't know,
Oh, maybe,
RSL
yeah,
Columbus.
maybe he beat somebody out for a spot on the Olympic team or
Yeah,
something.
maybe.
You never know. I mean, he
Yeah, I don't know.
didn't even end up going, but whatever.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. But I think in general the vibes all the way around were awesome. So if anybody hasn't been to MLS All Star, like at least one point as a fan, it's always kind of cool to go. I'll probably go again next year just because it's going to be a few hours away from me. It'll be down in Austin, so that'll
Nice.
be really really fun to be at.
Okay, we'll see you there.
We'll
yeah,
definitely see
yeah,
you there.
yeah. Well, yeah, you probably need more of your creators down there. So we'll count on you to get our passes for the All-Star
Yeah,
game.
I like that. I like that. Trust me, if we can, we will, man. We need more. We need more representation from every team down there. To be honest, I think it's even seeing the handful of creators that I saw this past All Star game. It just shows you that there's this shift happening, and like creators are almost prioritized a little bit more for this one. Like it felt different. So yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to, it's pretty awesome.
So Wednesday, FC Dallas comes all the way up to elevation.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you want to pass it on, it's like 9,000 feet. It really is. It's really high.
Even that high, come
I was
on.
like 9,000 feet, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Going
where
down to
it's
play
as
this
high
game.
as Azteca. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same.
going down
It's
to
the
play
same.
in
It's
another
the same.
country.
It's the same. It's 4,600 feet, I guess.
Yeah.
So
All right.
what can we expect to see out of FC Dallas on Wednesday? How do they play? I don't really follow them
Yeah.
formation wise, attack wise. What should we expect as RSL fans?
A very pragmatic approach. I can almost like bank on it. I think it's going to be a match where we sit in, where we try to control outcomes in moments of the game without necessarily having the ball. I think that worked for us pretty well against RSL in Dallas. I think the Texas Heat at that time of the year also contributed to that. But I think we're going to sit in. We're going to pick our moments. I have a feeling that we will, not in a low block per se, but really absorb as much pressure as we can, give our back line, who frankly is not that great. We just don't, I'll be honest, like talent wise, we just don't have a great back line. So there will be chances. I think RSL will be able to at times hit these long balls over the top of our defense that create problems. And it won't be Chicho getting on the end of those balls that create all the issues. It'll be the second and third balls that come his way. And so I think that's what Dallas will have to look out for. But moving forward, I could almost say the same thing in terms of what we should be aiming for against RSL, right? Is transitions. When I watched RSL against Houston, it felt like the back line didn't have quite as much urgency to like close down second, third, fourth chances for those opportunities that lived around the 18. And I feel like that's where Ponce got both his goals. I feel like that's where Carrasquilla was able to create issues, right? Like I feel like that's gonna be where we try to live is can we feed Musa a long ball? Can we get Velasco on the wing to open up space and then hit someone on the counter? I think that that's going to be our game plan going into this, but we're not going to go in and try to control this game. We're definitely going to try and not steal the 3 points, but use transitions to our advantage.
Yeah, that's one of the things Brant and I have talked about quite a bit on the podcast as well. Is a lot of times when teams come to elevation, they do this in Colorado sometimes too, is they play their hustle guys. They're guys that can go out and give them 60, 70 hustle minutes. And then they bring in their class guys for the last 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the game and try to go for the win then. So RSL always tries to get that first early goal and they push and push and push and push. And sometimes that backfires, they get a little too overexcited and then a counter punch. Guy like Musa gets half a chance and boom, we're losing 1-0 in the 5th minute or something because we're so gung-ho to go attack, you know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely are, mix and match in our way to our best 11 right now, and we don't know where that is right now, so I'm sure they don't know.
Yeah. I would say honestly, I feel like these two teams are in a similar position. I would just say when you look at the total 11 and the depth of each team, RSL probably slightly edges Dallas, but it's not by much. And I think that, in fact, I would say you guys had a stronger team the first time we played, and that's why it didn't matter what lead we had. It was never really safe, and RSL proved that. I think that'll be the case to an extent this time. I actually see several goals. This game could be a shootout just with how each respective back line is really playing. I do feel like your finishers collectively outweigh the one clinical finisher that we do have in Musa, right? So I think he's going to be such a focal point for us. He'll really have to probably get a goal minimum for us to be in this game. If he doesn't score, I can't confidently say where these goals are going to come from for Dallas. Like, of course, Leggett could score on a random header, or Ferreira could get a chance right near the 18 or something along those lines. But I can't sit here with confidence because it just hasn't happened enough for Dallas throughout the season. The one constant is Musa, hustling his way to a good opportunity and finishing it.
Yeah, he's 14. Everybody else is 3, 4, 3, 4.
Yeah, it
right?
just seems random, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ariola always seems to play well against RSL too, though.
I know he's kind of an RSL killer.
We can only hope for more of that.
Yeah. Well, we cannot thank you enough, Jose, for joining us. And do you have any predictions? I always go with like 3-1 RSL, but I don't know where they're going to get. No idea where they're going to get 3 goals. The chemistry has just disappeared since June, right before the Leagues Cup and Chicho's injury and his suspension for whatever that was. Losing
leaving, I think
Gomez leaving. Yeah, but even before Gomez left,
the Rocky Mountain Cup.
Oh yeah, the chemistry has just disappeared. So hopefully this will be the game where we turn it around.
Yeah.
But we've been saying that for quite a few games. But
2 of those were Houston, to be fair, and Houston's had our number for a bit.
Way too long.
But man, yeah, like we'll just play a random Mexican team like Atlas, who are better than us on paper, but we beat them. So like, then we'll go down into Houston and just lose by 3. So which RSL team's going to show up? That's what we're wondering.
Any predictions? Yeah, go ahead.
If I had to do this like in a non-biased way, which is not my style,
just go
non-biased way, I'd say 2-2. That's probably like realistically what's probably going to happen. But like I said, I'm not going to go out in a biased fashion. Dallas need to win this game. It is basically a playoff game in the sense that if they don't win, they might as well go home. I'm going to say 3-2 Dallas.
What about you, Tyler?
What do you got?
I don't know. I don't think that RSL's getting. I could see them giving up 3 goals, but I don't know. Might be right. I think it's going to be more of a 2-1.
Fair.
Yeah, I think the score will be 2-1. I'd like to see RSL with that, but who knows? In the last podcast, we talked about I thought RSL was going to come out and really take it to Houston finally, and Tyler was more like, "Yeah, I think if we lose this, we might just kind of spiral out of control." So I don't know what his prediction
I called for
now.
a tie. I was like, I think we'll be lucky if we get a tie in Houston, and obviously we didn't get that, but yeah, I'm going for a 1-point win, a close one. Maybe we get a nick a goal in the 85th minute to get an insurance goal, but I wouldn't expect much more than that the way we've been playing recently. So
it'll be interesting. I think midweek, this could be the most MLS week of all time, right? Just because it's midweek, teams are rotating. I know. Look, we could rotate as well. Musa may not even start. Farrington might start. I think Musa will see the game regardless. But with LAFC on the horizon, RSL could be getting Dallas at a great time. So I really won't know. Lusan's been kind of an interesting manager to try and predict his lineups for. So I'm gonna wait until I see the lineup on Saturday, or sorry, Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a little late on Saturday, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. It'd be a good game. I'm excited for it.
yeah,
Well, we
it's the
are too.
second time this year that we've had two home games on Wednesday, Saturday. Have you guys run into that? Usually it's away and then home, or vice versa.
That's
But
how it's
we've
been for us. Yeah.
home. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't know. MLS scheduling is also weird. Like the Cascadia Cup too. I know the last two have been in Portland as opposed to Seattle. I don't know. It's just it's weird. We played Houston 2 out of the 3 times at home versus away. And same thing for Austin, actually. I think we played Austin twice at Toyota and 1 time at the Q2. So yeah, I don't know. MLS, I mean, I guess you have to kind of pick with some of these teams, but yeah, scheduling can be weird.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jose, and we'll have you on. Definitely have you on again soon. We'll see how it goes later on this season. And tell people where they can find you and where they should be going to find your content.
Yeah, look, guys, my content as well as content of so many others, including the RSL Random Fan Pod, can be found on Goals TV, GOLZ.TV. Mobile app coming very, very soon. We're excited about that. So check it out. If you like it, great. If you don't, hopefully we'll make it better over time. So you will. And again, gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for having me on today. It was awesome, and I'm looking forward to the game.
Thanks.
Thanks,
We'll
Jose.
see you.